Good morning. I am Stephen C., and you are at Steve OC's on TikTok. It is 11 a.m. Central Time on Friday, May 9th, 2025. Thank you for being here. This is our daily review of the Course in Miracles and the workbook lesson for the day and a corresponding portion of the text. And we are using the Course in Miracles as a platform, a framework, a launching pad for our discussion of self inquiry, impartial self observation, self examination, spiritual subjects, metaphysics, esoteric, and occult discussions. That is what this channel is about. So follow this channel. You can also subscribe to this live. Please share the live and like the live. If you miss the live at 11 a.m. Central every day, you can go to the YouTube channel, my YouTube channel. The link is in the bio, and or you can search at Steve OC's or Stephen C. over on YouTube. There are over 100 hours of YouTube material over on my YouTube channel, discussion of the Course in Miracles. Great discussions, great contributions from our subscribers and followers, and just people who show up every day, new people every day who contribute to this conversation. So welcome, everybody. Thanks for being here this morning, and thanks for being here every day if you are a returning customer, a returning follower, or a subscriber. Please like the live, share the live. It helps distribute it to people who have not seen this content or may be interested in this content. So I appreciate that. Thank you. And I begin each of these sessions each day by reading the introduction to the Course in Miracles as a centering exercise to get us grounded in the material as sort of an opening prayer, if you will. The introduction to the Course in Miracles, the introduction to the text, says this is a Course in Miracles. It is a required course. Only the time you take it is voluntary. Free will does not mean that you can establish the curriculum. It means only that you can elect what you want to take at a given time. Course does not aim at teaching the meaning of love, for that is beyond what can be taught. It does aim, however, at removing the blocks to the awareness of love's presence, which is your natural inheritance. The opposite of love is fear, but what is all-encompassing can have no opposite. This course can therefore be summed up very simply in this way. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. A very nice, concise, very direct synopsis of what the Course in Miracles is about in those two paragraphs, in those 10 or 11 sentences there. Very direct, very straightforward. The Course in Miracles outlines the idea that we have a split mind. We have a portion of our mind. There is a portion of our consciousness, which it calls the separate self, the ego mind, which is operating from the premise that there are a multiplicity of minds, or a split mind, a dual mind. And so the Course in Miracles advocates for the non-dual mind, a non-dual perception, a unified mind, a unified thought field, so that we realize that we are one with creation, and we realize that we are one with each of our brothers and sisters. As the Course says, this is a universal curriculum. I call it esoteric Christianity. The Course to teach this universal curriculum, which can be taught under many different forms, the perennial philosophy, if you will, ancient wisdom, mystery school teachings. You could call it whatever you like. In this particular form, I like to refer to it as esoteric Christianity. Some of the hidden meanings behind the teachings of Jesus Christ, the allegorical, metaphorical teachings of the Bible, which is a user manual for regaining unified consciousness, for remembering who and what we really are. The course is divided into 3 separate sections: the text, the workbook, and the manual for teachers. We begin each day by looking at the lesson for the day. Everybody knows the rules. 1 lesson per day. Today, we will be looking at lesson 129. This is the 129th day of 2025, Friday, May 9th. And the 129th lesson says, beyond this world, there is a world that I want. Beyond this world, beyond the world I see with and experience with my 5 senses. Beyond this world that I see externally with my eyes. Thank you for sharing the live. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mary. And we got a couple comments here from Donnell Shaw. The police fell out the pond. Plantains again. Okay, Donnell, not quite awake this morning. Not sure what's being said there, but we could get it more toward the English language. That would help. Thank you, Donnell. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for being here. Not sure exactly what you're trying to say yet, but shake it off and try again, and we will respond. So, lesson 129, lesson 128. Yesterday, we said that the world we see holds nothing that we want. The world that we experience with our 5 senses holds nothing that we want. Nothing. How could that be? I want a new truck. I want my own house. I want a new relationship. I want a new job. I want to go on vacation. But the world I see holds nothing that I want. What the heck is the Course in Miracles talking about? Well, that was yesterday. This is today. Today we're saying beyond that world, beyond this world, there is a world that I want. So again, a representation of the split mind, a representation of duality, but we want to forget about the world we don't want, the world of death, terror, illness, sickness, destruction, war. We want to forget about that world. And there is another world, the kingdom of heaven, on earth as it is in heaven. There is a pure consciousness. There is a consciousness of light and love that will extend itself into the world that we see, and the old world will pass away, and we will begin to perceive and experience a new world. What do you think? Do you believe it? If you don't believe it, you'll never see it. When you see it, you'll believe it. As Wayne Dyer used to say, when you believe it, you'll see it. Not when you see it, you'll believe it. When you believe it, you'll see it. So beyond this world, there is a world that I want. So we're going to substitute for the substitution. The substitution of reality is unreality. The substitution for reality is a dream, is an illusion. And we are experiencing that dream. We are experiencing that illusion instead of reality. Now, we're going to substitute for the substitutes, for the substitution. Good morning, Mary. Yippee indeed. Yippee indeed. Mary believes. That's good. If you believe it, it is done unto you as you believe. If you believe it, you will see it. You will begin to experience it. This is the thought that follows from the one we practiced yesterday. The world I see holds nothing that I want. This is the thought. Beyond the world, there is a world that I want, beyond this world. This is a thought that follows from the one we practiced yesterday. You cannot stop with the idea that the world is worthless, meaningless, that we don't want it. For unless you see that there is something else to hope for, you will only be depressed. Our emphasis is not on giving up the world, but on exchanging it for what is far more satisfying, filled with joy, and capable of offering you peace. Do you think this world can offer that to you? It might be worth a little time to think once more about the value of this world, the world that we see. Perhaps you will concede, or perhaps you will admit there is no loss in letting go of all thought of value here. The world you see is merciless indeed, unstable, cruel, unconcerned with you, quick to avenge and pitiless with hate. It gives but to rescind, it gives but to take away, and takes away all things that you have cherished for a while. No lasting love is found, for none is here. Lasting love, right? Eventually people die, they give up their bodies. Eventually that house falls apart, that car breaks down, it's ruined in a wreck. And the Course is suggesting that there is another world, there is another experience where nothing fades away, where nothing passes away, where everything is permanent and unchanging, in that it is peaceful, loving, filled with light. Still experience many different things, experiencing many different things, many different joys, many different forms, but the content is joy, happiness, peace, and fulfillment. However that is being expressed, however that is being creatively expressed, the underlying current, the seed thought, the atomic center is joy, peace, happiness, and fulfillment. Whatever form it takes. Yes, the forms pass away, just like the forms pass away here, let's say. But just as we can experience it and allow it to produce itself, allow it to extend itself here, right? So we move into heaven, we move into a new neighborhood, a new existence. We move into the Father's house. We come back home to live with the Father and live with the Mother. We move back into our parents' house, our real parents, our spiritual parents, our metaphysical parents, who are not people with bodies. They are hard to describe, right? The Tao says they are indescribable. The Tao is indescribable. If you describe the Tao, you are not talking about the Tao, because the Tao cannot be described. So it continues here that there is another world that I want. Is it a loss to find a world instead where losing is impossible, where love endures forever, hate cannot exist, and vengeance has no meaning? Is it lost to find all things you really want and know they have no ending, and they will remain exactly as you want them throughout time. Yet, even they will be exchanged at last for what we cannot speak of, as we just said. Cannot speak of it, cannot describe it. In fact, it is understood in silence and stillness. For you go from there to where words fail entirely into a silence where the language is unspoken and yet surely understood. That's awesome. Communication, unambiguous and plain as day, remains unlimited for all eternity, and God Himself speaks to His Son as His Son speaks to Him. His Son, His child being all of creation. Everyone and everything is God's Son. There isn't just one God's Son. We are all God's Son. In that case, as a community or as a integrated whole, then there is one Son, but it's composed of many different parts. And God Himself speaks to His Son as His Son speaks to Him. Their language has no words, for what they say cannot be symbolized. Words are symbols. Their knowledge is direct and wholly shared and wholly one. How far away from this are you who stay bound to this world? And yet, how near are you when you exchange it for the world you want? So the Bible says, with the faith of a mustard seed, you will remove that mountain through your command, through your decree. With the faith of a mustard seed, with just a little bit of faith. The Course says, with just a little bit of willingness, you will be able to understand what's being spoken about here. And here, how far from this are you who stay bound to the world, and yet how near are you when you exchange it for the world you want? So we have to just fundamentally begin to accept the notion that there must be a better way. There must be a better world. There must be something different. And I would like to find out what that is. And since I do not know what it is, since I have such a limited perspective, I'm just going to become open and receptive to that idea that there's something else, something greater than myself, something more loving, something more peaceful. And then I'm going to start to add some of the other concepts that are talked about in the Course in Miracles, but that are also talked about in any spiritual discussion: unity, oneness, brotherhood, compassion, love, light. Okay, in any religion, in the esoteric aspects of any religion, Sufism, which is esoteric Islam, Kabbalah, which is esoteric Judaism, okay, esoteric Christianity, here Hermeticism, esoteric Egypt, all hidden teachings, not because they're secrets, but because we hide them from ourselves. We don't investigate. If we don't investigate, if we don't look, if we don't keep knocking, if we don't keep seeking, looking, learning until we understand, then they are hidden, they are esoteric. But we are also at the point in time and space, we're also at the point in our experience where all of these ideas, all of this help, all of the interpretations, all of the wisdom necessary to find what we're seeking is available. Just pick up your phone. Look for it on TikTok. TikTok's not all dance videos, right? TikTok's not just for teenagers, all that stuff, right? Hey, there's other stuff on TikTok. So go beyond the propaganda, go beyond the surface, probe a little bit deeper on TikTok and probe a little bit deeper within yourself. Turn within and go deeper, go deeper. The thing we concentrate on, the mind provides. So if we concentrate on hidden esoteric knowledge, if we just concentrate on it, if we just say, I'm interested in that, I'd like to know more about that, you may have the sort of experience I had, which is you'll start finding YouTube videos. And even before that, you'll start finding books, articles, people, conversations, a lot of books in my past. They seem to call to me from the used bookstore bookshelf, right? They seem to call to me from Amazon and YouTube. People would talk about a book or be talking about something. I go, wonder what that's about. I'd get the book. I'd go to the library and find a lot of these books at the library. Go get a library card. Just like I did. Go get a library card. Don't leave home without it. And you will begin to hear these things. You will begin to find these things. They will begin to find you. Continuing with this lesson, beyond this world, there is a world that I want. This world holds nothing that I want, but beyond this world, there is a world that I want. Now is the last step certain. Now you stand an instant's space away from timelessness. Remember, we've been talking about the holy instant, the power of now. The holy instant, the Course in Miracles calls it. No past, no future, no regret, no shame, no trauma from the past, no guilt from the past, and no worry, no doubt, no anxious anticipation of the future. Past and future are gone. I place the future in the hands of God. The past does not exist. And in this holy instant, I can get a taste of eternity. If I can focus my mind, bring my attention to this moment of now, and let it rest there, I rest in God. I rest in the truth. I rest in this moment of now. Maybe my experience will begin to change. I'm here to tell you it does. It does change. You bet. How can you but look forward, never back, to see again the world you do not want? So do not look to the past. I'm never upset for the reason that I think. I'm upset because I see something that isn't there. I see only the past. My mind is preoccupied with past thoughts. We're told every encounter is a holy encounter, but do not drag the past into this present moment of now so that we can see each other anew. We can see each other innocently. We can talk to each other without the past. We can talk to each other without any prejudices, judgments, without any preconceived notions, right? Just think about that. Think about all the ideas and the concepts that are clogging up that perfect, pure, innocent, immaculate conception we could have of each other. Instead, we bring the past with us. We bring all the baggage We bring all the baggage from the past and it clouds our perception of this moment of now. Here's the world that comes to take its place. As you unbind your mind from little things the world sets forth to keep you prisoner, the meaningless gifts, the little interferers, the misperceptions, the false idols. Unbind your mind from false idols the world sets forth to keep you prisoner. Value them not, and they will disappear. Don't pay any attention to them, they'll go away. They'll stop bothering you. If you stop feeding them, if you stop feeding them emotionally, if you stop feeding them intellectually, if you stop engaging with them, then they really don't exist. They'll just go away energetically, physically, whatever. They'll just go away. Such is the choice. What loss can be for you in choosing not to value nothingness? What loss can there be in choosing not to value nothingness? This world holds nothing you really want, but what you choose instead, you want indeed. Let it be given you today. It waits, but for your choosing it to take the place of all the things you seek, but do not want. The fundamental premise of the ego mind, the mind of separation, is seek, but do not find. Be constantly thwarted, distracted, frustrated, feeling incomplete, feeling insignificant. That is the ego mind. That is the personality. That is the little self, the outer personality. We want to find the universal self, the grand self, self with a capital S, the universal self, the one self, the at-one-ment, the atonement, the one God, as one of our friends just put up in the comments. Practice your willingness to make this change 10 minutes in the morning and at night, and once more in between. Begin with this. Say this to yourself. This is the suggested prayer, the little mini prayer, the affirmation. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. I choose to see that world instead of this world, for here is nothing that I really want. I want to see a different world. I want to see a different world. Remember, this is one step at a time, one day at a time. You may have what people call a white light experience, or you may have an overwhelming spiritual experience, or your spiritual experience may be of the educational kind. It may dawn on you slowly. It may come to you slowly, bit by bit, piece by piece, like putting a puzzle together. Piece by piece before the whole picture starts to come together. Close your eyes upon the world you see, and in the silent darkness, watch the lights that are not of this world light, one by one, until where one begins, another ends, loses all meaning as they blend in one. Now do we understand there is no loss, for we have seen its opposite at last. And we are grateful that the choice is made. The choice has already been made. The choice has already been made for us. We have already made the choice. We may be unconscious of it. We may not remember it. We may still be caught up in the past, still caught up in experiencing the past, still not awake, still dreaming, still believing in the illusion, still giving our energy to the illusion. We're grateful that the choice is made. We're grateful that we're already saved. We're grateful that we've never left. the source of our creation. We've never left our home, our real home. Remember your decision hourly and take a moment to confirm your choice by laying by whatever thoughts you have and dwelling briefly only upon this. The world I see holds nothing that I want. Beyond this world, there is a world I want. That improved world, that beautiful world, that world I can see in my imagination, that world of perfect communication, love, brotherhood, peace, travel, beauty, mountains, nature, swimming pools, hot tubs, right? Right? I see it. I can see it. But it also, in here, I can see it, right? It's love, it's peace, it's joy, it's fulfillment, it's happiness, it's the unbearable lightness of being. If you've read Kundera, Milan Kundera, I believe. I read that one a long time ago. The unbearable lightness of being. So let's go to the text. That's all for the lesson for the day. Beyond the world I see is a world that I want. Beyond this world, there is a world that I want. There's another world. As the world turns, there is another world. Okay, this is chapter 15, section 6, the holy instant and the laws of God. The holy instant is the power of now. Eckhart Tolle. The holy instant, the power of now, and the laws of God. The laws of God are the Hermetic laws, 7 Hermetic principles. The laws of consciousness, as you sow, so shall you reap. The law of correspondence, the law of mentalism, the law of polarity, the law of gender. There's 7 of them. What did I say? 3, 4? Okay. The holy instant and the laws of God. And yesterday, we talked about the holy instant and special relationships. The ego wants to make special relationships. And as we have learned, there is no love but God's. All love is the same, which is a tough subject for the ego. But remember, the special love, when the thing that is especially loved leaves, goes away, then there is a special loss. There is a special hurt. Instead, again, developing the consciousness, developing a different thought system that realizes everything here rises and then it falls. It comes into being, then it passes away. Now, that happens eternally. There's waves and waves and waves, right? Do the waves ever stop crashing on the beach? I mean, they do, but do they ever? No, the waves are always crashing on the beach. Wave, wave. And yeah, a wave disappears, but here comes another one. And there you are again. And oh, there you are again. So open our mind to a greater conception of life, a new framework, a different world view. It has to be done. Our worldview has been deliberately restricted on this planet, right? We're told this is the only planet with life on it in the universe. What? What? Right? We've been told all kinds of things. We've been told all kinds of things about history, and all kinds of things have been left out also. So we have to become interested in knowing more, being more. Mary was agreeing there for a minute, but now she's saying, no, stop, stop. I want to get off. Stop the carousel. I'm going, stop the ride. I'm going to throw up. That's right. Don't worry. You'll get a chance to rest. We all get a chance to rest, right? There's always a Sabbath. There's always a day of rest. There's always a moment of rest and regeneration and resurrection. So the holy instant and the laws of God, the holy instant, the power of now, and the laws of mind. It is impossible to use one relationship at the expense of another and not to suffer guilt. And it is equally impossible to condemn part of a relationship and find peace within it. Under the Holy Spirit's teaching, all relationships are seen as total commitments, yet they do not conflict with one another in any way. Perfect faith in each one, for its ability to satisfy you completely, arises only from perfect faith in yourself. And this you cannot have while guilt remains, and there will be guilt as long as you accept the possibility and cherish it that you can make a brother into what he is not because you would have him so. Again, that split mind, the ego mind, I'm going to build a picture of you in my mind. You're this, you're not that, you're this, you're not that. You're tall, you're short, you're skinny, you're fat, you're a Democrat, you're a Republican, you're educated, you're not, you're smart, you're not. See, I'm going to build a little picture of you. That's the ego mind. And the Holy Spirit, the Christ mind, an expanded God mind, a unified mind, a unified consciousness simply looks out and says, I see myself. I see the Christ. I see perfect, whole, and complete in you. No guilt, no flaws, perfect, whole, and complete. No problems. That's what I see when I see you, because that's what I see when I see me. That's why it's talking about guilt here. Guilt comes from judgment, the Course says. Guilt comes from criticism. Guilt comes from separation. And the ultimate separation, the original separation, is somehow I convinced myself a long time ago. I convinced myself I was separate from God. Through many lifetimes of experience, I fell deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into the world, into materialism, into separation. Now, back up. Time to ascend. Less and less and less separation, more and more and more unity, right back up to the top, right back where we started. But I would make a brother into what he is not because I would have him so. So I'm going to make you in my image and likeness. I'm going to say what you are. Instead of, I'm going to let God say what you are. You have so little faith in yourself because you are unwilling to accept the fact that perfect love is in you. And so you seek without for what you cannot find without. You seek outside for what you cannot find outside. Now, as the voice of Jesus says, I offer you my perfect faith in you in place of all your doubts. But forget not that my faith must be as perfect in all your brothers as it is in you, or it would be a limited gift to you. So Jesus trusts me, but guess what? He trusts you too. The I am consciousness, the Christ consciousness, knows the truth about me and the truth about you. If I limit the truth about you, I'm limiting the truth about me. That's what was just said there. In the holy instant, we share our faith in God's Son because we recognize together that he is wholly worthy of it. And in our appreciation of his worth, we cannot doubt his holiness or his wholeness, and so we love him. All separation vanishes as holiness is shared. For holiness is power, and by sharing it, it gains in strength. If you seek for satisfaction in gratifying your needs as you perceive them, or as you define them, or as I define them, see, God says I don't have any needs. I was given everything. I have everything. In a universal, abstract sense and essence, okay? I may not have everything specifically, but I could if I understood that I have everything. Love is everything. I have everything. I am everything. Having and being are one. If you seek for satisfaction in gratifying your needs as you perceive them, you must believe that strength comes from another, and what you gain, he loses, right? Zero-sum game. If I have it, you don't. That's the ego talking. I must be better than you. That's the ego talking. Mind of separation. The mind of dominance. The mind that I'm going to feel better about myself because I'm putting you down. So I'm calling your beliefs, your ideas, I'm calling them into question so I can feel better about myself. Often a subconscious belief, often not recognized, which is why watching our own mind, listening to ourselves, listening to what we're saying, listening to what we're feeling, what we're thinking, self-examination, impartial self-observation is self-inquiry is important. Very important, because the problem is not outside. Problem, we won't be fooled again, Mary says. Indeed, yeah. Problem is not outside of me. The problem is inside of me. The problem is my conception, my interpretation of what I think I'm seeing, what I think I'm hearing. But I'm imagining things. I'm making things up in a fundamental, essential sense. Because I'm confused about who I am. I'm obviously confused about who you are. So when I get myself straightened out, when I accept the atonement, the at-one-ment, when I accept it for myself, then I can look outside myself and go, oh, it has to reflect what I know about myself. It has to. That's the law, the holy instant and the laws of God. You did not find it difficult to believe that when another, you do not find it difficult to believe that when another calls on God for love, your call remains as strong. Nor do you think that when God answers him, your hope of answer is diminished. On the contrary, you are more inclined to regard his success as a witness to the possibility of yours, or you should. I know there's this, I was reading this earlier and I was like, oh, there's also this idea that like God's too busy to answer my prayers. Who started telling us that? Right? Where did that one? Why do I? God's too busy. Can't help me. On the contrary, you're more inclined to regard your brother's success as witness to the possibility of yours. That's really the way to think of it, right? This is because you recognize, listen to this, here's an important one. That is because you recognize, however dimly, that God is an idea. And so your faith in him is strengthened by sharing, right? That's really what persuasion, argument, marketing, sales, that's what all that is really about, right? I want you to think political parties. I want you to think like I think. I want you to share this idea with me. Why? Because it makes the idea stronger. And then there is a sense that if we share those ideas, we become stronger together, right? But always the ego twists it because there's always someone who's not sharing the idea and they become the enemy. But if you recognize, however dimly, that God is an idea, your faith in him is strengthened by sharing. Now, the next sentence, again, very important. What you find difficult to accept is the fact that, like your father, you are an idea. And like him, you can give yourself completely, wholly without loss, and only with gain. Herein lies peace, for here there is no conflict. So if I'm an idea in the mind of God, God is an idea. If the universe is mental, which is the first principle, first hermetic principle, the universe is mental. The all is mind. God's creation is mental. And I am an idea in the mind of God. Now, ideas can just be shared. There's no loss if I share an idea. I don't lose the idea when I give the idea away. When I give the idea to you, I don't lose it. In the world of scarcity, the ego mind, the ego world, love has no meaning and peace is impossible. For gain and loss are both accepted, and so no one is aware that perfect love is in him. In the holy instant, you recognize the idea of love in you and unite this idea with the mind that thought it, capital M, God's mind, and could not relinquish it. So the other phrase that is used here is thoughts do not leave their source, right? So if I think a thought and I give it away and I tell it to you, it hasn't left. It's still there. Thoughts do not leave their source. And if my consciousness and your consciousness, if there's one consciousness and I share a thought, I'm really just highlighting something, right? That's already in your mind because there's only one mind. So together, we're just highlighting something. We're just getting the old highlighter out, right? We're just highlighting something. Highlighter, right? It's already in there. I'm not saying anything that you don't already know. Course in Miracles, this text, this live, everything we're saying, everything we're sharing, we all already know. We're just taking the time to highlight it. We're just taking the time to remind ourselves together. In the holy instant, you recognize the idea of love in you and unite this idea with the mind, capital M, that thought it and could not relinquish it. By holding it within itself, there is no loss. The holy instant thus becomes a lesson in how to hold all of your brothers in your mind, experiencing not loss, but completion. From this, it follows you can only give, and this is love, for this alone is natural under the laws of God, under the laws of mentalism. In this holy instant, the laws of God prevail, and only they have meaning. The laws of this world cease to hold any meaning at all. So we also say, I am under no laws but God's. I am as God created me. Nothing has changed in that sense. I am as God created me. I am not sick. I am not poor. I am not injured. I am not guilty. I am unconditioned. I am unconditional love. I am unconditioned mind, empty, spacious, still, peaceful. When the Son of God accepts the laws of God as what he gladly wills, it is impossible that he be bound or limited in any way. In that instant, he is as free as God would have him be. For the instant he refuses to be bound, he is not bound. In the holy instant, nothing happens that has not always been, right? It's all already happened. It's all just under review at the moment. This is an official replay. We are part of an official replay. We're just looking at the video again to see what happened. We're already perfectly healed. We've never left our Father's house. We've never left the source of our creation. We've never left God's mind. God's mind. God doesn't change its mind. It's always the same. So we are as we were and forever shall be. We are that. I am that is unified consciousness. Nothing has changed, yet the awareness of changelessness comes swiftly as the veil of time is pushed aside. No one who has not yet experienced the lifting of the veil and felt himself drawn irresistibly into the light behind it can have faith in love without fear. Yet the Holy Spirit gives you this faith because she offered it to me and I accepted it. Again, this is the voice of Jesus, the voice for Jesus. Fear not that the holy instant will be denied you, for I denied it not. So that consciousness, the Christ consciousness, the consciousness of Jesus, he accepted the truth for everyone and everything. He remembered it for us. Now we have to remember it for him. We have to give him back or exchange the gift, return the gift that he gave to us, multiply it, extend it, strengthen it. And through me, the Holy Spirit gives it unto you as you will give it. Let no need you perceive obscure your need of this. For in the holy instant, you will recognize the only need the sons of God share equally. And by this recognition, you will join with me in offering what is needed. All that we need is a state of mind, a state of consciousness, the correct state of mind, the correct state of consciousness, the true state of mind. We just need to share that. Instead of sharing contention, instead of sharing judgment, criticism, argument, opposition, instead of sharing that, which of course says really can't be shared because everybody's picture is different, what would I have to think? What would I have to feel? What would I have to let go of to accept the idea that we're all really thinking love? We all really are love, no matter what the behavior is at the moment, because time doesn't really exist. Rereading, remembering, rewatching the movie. Yep, absolutely. Correcto. A plus. It is through us that peace will come. Join me in the idea of peace. For in ideas, minds can communicate. If you would give yourself as your Father gives his self, capital S, you will learn to understand selfhood, capital S. And if we understand ourself, therein is love's meaning understood. But remember that understanding is of the mind and only of the mind. Knowledge is therefore of the mind, and its conditions are in the mind with it. So we're trying to achieve certain conditions in the mind. A peaceful mind, a still mind, quiet mind, a mind that's not critical, a mind that's not agitated, a mind and a heart that's not agitated, a mind and heart that's not always finding fault in anyone or anything. I do handyman work. So if you do handyman work like I do occasionally, something's wrong, right? Something's broken, but I don't want to look at it that way. I want to look at it as an opportunity to make something perfect. I want to look at it as an opportunity to restore perfection, right? So that's the condition that's necessary in the mind. Yeah, my window's broken. No, it's not. Give me a minute. Yeah, see, now your window's not broken. Your window's just fine. So that condition, that state, so we're just here to serve in that way. And the handyman metaphor, or I also worked in the hospitality industry, restaurants. What my teacher taught me, what my master teacher taught me is the working in restaurants are a great opportunity to bring people into a state of mind and a state of being, of satisfaction, of enjoyment, of thankfulness, right? Because you're bringing them good food, there's great atmosphere, great conversation, right? Some really great things can happen in a restaurant, at a table at a restaurant. If you're willing to serve, if you're willing to produce it. If you were not an idea and nothing but an idea, you could not be in full communication with all that ever was. Yet, as long as you prefer to be something else or would attempt to be nothing else and something else together, you will not remember the language of communication, which you know perfectly. Right? So we're going from the place, we're being honest with ourselves and we're recognizing mistakes have been made, but they can be corrected. So now we're into correction. We're handymen of the soul. We're servers of the soul. We're waiters upon the soul. We're fishers of men. We're not going to be a people pleaser because we feel bad about ourselves, but we're going to share our happiness with people, our joy with people, and increase their joy, not to be a people pleaser, not out of some sense of guilt or inadequacy or compensation, but just because it's overflowing. It's constantly flowing, it's overflowing. That's why. Okay, last paragraph. In the holy instant, God is remembered, and the language of communication with all your brothers is remembered with him. For communication is remembered together, as is truth. There is no exclusion in the holy instant because the past is gone, and with it goes the whole basis. For exclusion, without its source, exclusion vanishes. Exclusion, separateness, this is one thing, that's another thing, right? Without that source, without the ego mind, forget about it. Without the idea of duality, with only the idea of unity, the other thing disappears, because now there's only one thing. If you read Plotinus or Neoplatonism, a Neoplatonic author, Plotinus, read some Plotinus. Go search Plotinus or Plotinus. He talks about the one. Without its source, exclusion vanishes. And this permits your source, capital S, and that of all your brothers, one source, for me and for everybody else, to replace it in your awareness. God and the power of God will take their rightful place in you, and you will experience the full communication of ideas with ideas. Through your ability to do this, you will learn what you must be, for you will begin to understand what your Creator is and what his creation is along with him. Okay, getting the 5-minute warning. Getting the 5-minute warning from TikTok here, but we are finished for today anyway. You will learn what you must be, for you will begin to understand what your Creator is and what his creation is along with him. Creator is consciousness. Everything is consciousness. The one thing science won't admit, or is just starting to admit, but that can't really be science anymore. It's going to be something else. The materialism doesn't admit to consciousness, but consciousness is all there is. So, right, the whole thing has to be reformulated. So it's condensed consciousness. It's the waveform, right, collapsing into the particle, into matter. It's the waveform, it's the frequency, it's the vibration collapsing into matter. So quantum physics is the closest we've come. And it's, if you listen to Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, a couple of others, from the scientific side, scientific spiritual side, they're starting to talk about these things. So it is the time, it is the age of Aquarius, and it is also time to say goodbye for today. So that's it for today. And you can review this discussion, review this live. I will upload it on YouTube later today or later tonight. Please feel free to go check it out on YouTube, review it, or go to acim.org and read it for yourself. Don't believe me. Check it out for yourself, as they say. So thank you for being here. Thanks for the comments. Have a great day. Peace and blessings. Love you. Love you guys. And have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.